Hello, my name is Shirley Lawson and I'm absolutely delighted to be here tonight on the Twinkl Scotland Teachers Group to be talking about the work we do and the services we provide at Call Scotland. I'm sitting here tonight in my kitchen. It's quite nice to be away from the office and a more relaxed setting, and hopefully everyone else is in a relaxed setting at home and going to get some useful information tonight on supporting students in your class with additional support needs or disabilities or communication impairment with the use of inclusive digital technologies. I'd like to start by apologising for anyone that tuned in last Wednesday for the live stream, and I was sitting in this position and I was chatting away for about 40 minutes. But actually I was live on the Call Scotland group, so complete waste of time, and I apologise for anyone that did log in, but I would like to just say that technology sometimes doesn't work as you expect it, but please don't be put off, and I certainly wasn't put off, and so happy here tonight for take two. For this session, I have to generalise a little bit in terms of not really knowing the audience. I can see we've got 9 people looking at the moment, and of course it will be archived, so we'll have other people in the future logging into it. So generalising in terms of your knowledge of technology, what you're already using in the classroom, and of course your just different classroom settings, whether you're in a mainstream nursery, primary, high school setting, or whether you're in an additional support needs base or special school. The technologies that we deal with cover them all. But tonight it is really a really short session. I mean, I will be here for 30 minutes, hopefully finish in time for MasterChef, for those that are watching the programme at the moment. I will be talking, and then please type in any questions you've got, and I'll have a look at them and answer them at the end. But this is just really the start of the conversation. It's just raising awareness of Call Scotland, what we do, services we provide, and hopefully there will be things that you will see are useful and that we can help you in some way. So just a little bit background about myself. I'm relatively late to teaching. I did my PGDE at Murray House in 2007. So then went on to a small primary school as an NQT, and really that's where I started to see how motivating and engaging technology was for the children in the class, but especially those with additional support needs, how helpful it could be. And I started doing some research at that point to see how I could use more technology to support these students. Therefore, then after that I went on to work for the education department, and half my time was specialising in assistive technologies, and then was seconded to Call, and I'm now absolutely delighted to be staying on there. We are funded, or Scottish Government funded organisation specialising in assistive technologies, or what we're tending to call now inclusive digital technologies, to support children and young people overcome barriers to learning. We've been on the go since 1983. We only ever have 1 or 2 year funding packages, but we've never had a break. So it's definitely a service that is much needed. And I think more so with cuts at local authority level and school level, but people still requiring the knowledge and training around inclusive digital technologies, that we're there in this national level. So we do provide strategic leadership in the fields of ICT and AAC, always lots of acronyms in the technology field. ICT, obviously, in information communication technologies, which this digital inclusive technologies is just really another term at the moment that's being used. And AAC is alternative augmentative communication. So children and young people with a communication impairment, requiring a voice output from perhaps a communication aid or a communication app. And at Call Scotland we have 2 speech and language therapists on our team, so it's great. I mean, for me, going from a central education position where it was just me with every single additional support need and disability to deal with, and not having the expertise, I'm now at least able to defer to other members of the team who do. It's great. So it's like a joined up thinking and joined up working, and that really works well. So we do work with Scottish Government. So for example, at the moment, Pupil Equity Fund, lots of schools are getting lots of money and trying to find out what is the best way to invest that money and show a return for it in terms of closing the poverty related attainment gap. You can buy technologies, you are able to do that, but what are you going to do with them? You know, there is really not much point in just saying, well, I'm sure iPads can help, and buy 20 iPads, and then, as we often see, they sit in boxes unopened. Nobody knows quite how to set them up, not sure what apps, not sure how to use them. So yes, we can provide training on how to do these things, but really what we would like to do is to be able to advise on a digital strategy, an inclusive digital strategy that will help all students in your school to raise attainment. We have service level agreements with 16 local authorities, and if you do want to check whether your local authority is one of these, then you can go to our website and check on the information page. Because if you do have a student in your class that you would like some support with, we go out, we do the assessments, we work with the school, we work with other professionals involved with the child, and to work out what assistive technology would best support them, access the curriculum, or perhaps for communication or for life skills. We meet with parents and carers, and just to make sure everyone's on board with what we're advising and recommending, and then at a later point go back and evaluate what equipment's being used, how it's being used, because it's so important not just to come up with a solution and then think that's it. You know, it could be the right answer for a while, but it might not be ongoing. So obviously, but I'll say this, you know, what's provided in Primary 3 might not be the most appropriate piece of technology in S1, but sometimes if it's in a child's notes, or in an IEP, sometimes it's maybe not reviewed as often as it should, and therefore the technology stays the same and it's really not meeting their needs. Information and advice. We are the people to come to if you have any questions about the use of technology, and we do take all sorts of inquiries. So it could be really as vague as, I have a child with autism in my class and they have a particular interest in something. I know they like computers. These are the literacy targets we're working to. Is there anything that could support them? So you don't have to be too specific, but we can provide information, happy to have a chat over things. For example, somebody might be describing, I know there's a device you can get where you can just, with the end of the pen, this one here, with the end of the pen, you just kind of drag it over text, paper text, and it reads it out loud. Well, this is exactly what this is. This is a reading pen, and it can be used in an exam situation, so that would make a student more independent and requiring a scribe. So we're able to say, yes, that's a reading pen, and actually we've got some in our loan bank. So this is the other thing that we are able to provide, is to be able to provide equipment for you to try. So it's like try before you buy. You can look at our website and see if we have a particular piece of equipment you would like to try. We'll ship it out to you. You've got it for 3 months for free. Give it a go and see if that's something that you want to then go ahead and buy. And as I say, something like the reading pen, we do have them there to loan out to you. So another of the services we provide. And the other thing is professional learning. So lots of different opportunities for professional learning. I see that some of the links that I have sent through will be appearing there for you, so you can click on them to get the full information. But we provide professional learning courses at the university. We're based in Edinburgh University. Either half-day seminars or full-day courses. We do appreciate it's difficult to get time out, and I think this is one of the difficulties. People do want to know about assistive technology. They do want to know how they can best support the students with additional support needs, but where are you going to get the knowledge? Where are you going to get the time to learn and the time to practice? So we will come out to your school, your organisation. We will bring our training laptops, we will bring our iPads that already have the software or apps on them, and we will bring out our expert tutors, and we'll sit and we will deliver the training to a group of staff or a whole staff for in-service day. And then we have that chance to have the hands-on practice, and obviously it is much better if you know, a group of people are doing it, so you're not going in a training course and coming back and having the expectation to disseminate the information to other people. Everyone's learning together, so when we go away you will have somebody there to help you with there. I'm seeing lots of questions coming in, so I'm kind of getting distracted down to the bottom of the screen. I'm going to concentrate on going through the rest of the information just now, and I can certainly scroll through the questions at the end, and happy to help. And as I say, this is really just the start of the conversation, because we want to know how we can help you. We have an additional support for learning conference, 2 conferences at the 14th and 15th of June. So please go to our website if you'd like to come along to them. The 14th is in Edinburgh. It's all day, free. We have workshops, we have suppliers that come with all their different devices and software and apps. So anything to do with technology to support students with additional support needs. We have half-hour workshops running all day, and as I say, we have all our suppliers there with information stands as well. So it's a great way, and also for networking as well. You'll be meeting people from other schools, working with students similar to your own. So 14th of June is in Edinburgh, 15th of June is in Clydebank. Both free. Please come along, we'd love to see you there, and you can chat to us. We'll be all there, all our team will be there, and it's a great chance to say hello and get some information. So the training, I just to see that one quick question, the training, when we come out to the school with our equipment, there is a charge for that. Now, depending whether you are a school or your authority has a service level agreement, there is a different rate if you have got this SLA with us. If not, it's slightly more expensive, and depends on the numbers. If you have up to 12 people, then we require one trainer. If it's more than a group of 12, then it would be 2 trainers that come out, and with travel expenses as well. But I'm the person that deals with all that, so please drop me an email or give me a phone. And when we come out to the school, I mean, it's bespoke courses, it's for whatever you want. Yes, on our website we have a list of suggested courses, but obviously different for each school, and you might have specific things you want us to cover. And that's great, because obviously we want to meet your exact needs. So just for example, just our day-to-day, you know, it was a really interesting mix. So we spent some time together as a team looking at different wheelchair mounts for iPads. So lots of different bits of equipment that we buy to try out. And it does mean that if you are thinking about, you have a child perhaps in a power wheelchair but it's requiring the use of an iPad, how would you know where to mount it, how to get the best use out of it? Now, some OTs may have training with regards to something like that, but a lot don't. A lot of OTs would come to us for that information. A lot of suppliers come to us with their equipment, but how do we match it up, and how do we actually, you know, test it out? Yes, there will be an iPad stand that physically can do the job, but how would you know that that iPad stand is sturdy enough to withstand somebody who has a very heavy touch? So we spent a bit of time today discussing, and that was a really good thing to do, because we're so often busy and out and about doing our own thing, that it was good to come together as a team. So if anyone has any question about wheelchair mounts, we do have a section on our website, information on that. So you'll see that on our site, that we have everything split up into different categories, and you can get your answers there. I also spent some time with somebody who came in to show a new app. It was a communication app and based on the PECs. So this one was very much for perhaps somebody with autism who, in terms of clicking on something, say they were using a communication app and they were tapping on a picture, an icon, and it was going up into the bar, which then spoke back. But if you're just tapping on it, you're not actually knowing that you have caused it to go up into the speaking bar. So that could be confusing. But someone who is a competent PECS user and is used to taking the piece of the little picture on the Velcro off and putting it onto the other Velcro strip, that's very much how the app worked, that you had to drag and drop it into the line that then you had the voice output. So, you know, people are coming to us to ask us, you know, is this something you think is a good idea? I was with my colleague who's a speech and language therapist, who's a better understanding of that, and would schools be interested in trialling that? And, you know, we're always very careful when it comes to things like that, because we do appreciate your workload. You know, it's very difficult to kind of do a trial of that where it would have to be done intensively, and that, you know, you need something that you know that you're going to get something out of it. Are you going to get the equipment? Are you going to get a trial with it? And obviously there's time on your side to set things up. So we're kind of the first line of defence, honestly, for you getting a sales call with somebody trying to sell you something and they're coming through us. And I think that's a good way to do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do just now, I'm going to move on and I'm going to start talking about something a bit more specific. So we're going to talk about technology solutions to support students with literacy difficulties. And we have two very good infographics that you can download for free from our website. One of them is called Supporting Reading Difficulties and the other one is Addressing Writing Difficulties. You look at them, a quick glance at them, they look quite complicated, but if you can manage to print them out to A3, you'll see they're fantastic. They split up the problems into different areas in terms of how you would identify them, and also different strategies that you could try. Some are no tech, some are perhaps low tech, and some are sort of higher tech solutions there. And what we tend to do is we try to think of a scenario. So, for example, if I was thinking of a young student I worked with, David, he's age 10, he's dyslexic, he's got great difficulty decoding words and processing information, and what's happened, he has become demoralised and he has low self-esteem. In class there are a lot of paper resources, his maths books, a paper textbooks, his reading book. There's still a lot of worksheets around. So, I mean, really him being provided with paper is a real barrier to his learning because he can't access it properly. But if these resources could be provided to him digitally, then he would be able to use what we call text to speech, to have the text read back to him. So no longer does he have to struggle decoding a word. He can simply highlight the word and have it read back to him. So what I'm going to do just now is I'm actually just going to demo that. I've got my laptop set up here, so I'm just going to change the camera angle round for you and see if I can get that up here on the screen. Okay, so stick this up a bit. Okay, so this is just a Word document up on my laptop here, and you can see I've got this little toolbar here. So this is called Natural Reader. It's just a free little bit of software you can get, and it should be on your school computers. Another one that's a free one that's been popular is called Ivona Mini Reader. Again, another free one. Ivona you can no longer download for free, but Natural Reader you can. And you'll see what happens here. When I highlight the text and then click on the green arrow,
becoming a successful learner is very hard if you have difficulty reading and understanding text. Okay, so just reading it out in the Scottish Heather voice. We Call Scotland have produced the two different Scottish voices, Heather and Stuart, and they should again be on all Scottish school computers. They're really good, and it's nice to have that rather than the kind of perhaps American robotic voice. Now, for some young person who has difficulty reading, they may require to highlight all the text, but for some it might just be a matter of clicking on one word and successful,
pressing play. So they've got that chance to do that there. So really, really easy thing to do. It may be what we actually recommend, you know, it's like this modelling good practice. So say, for example, you've got your day plan up there. We would just recommend anytime you put on your computer, switch on whatever you've got on your computer that is offers the text-to-speech option, because it's just there and ready, and it's really just modelling good practice to say, well, yes, some people can read this and some people will listen to it, but some people, if they've got text there, to let them know if they highlight the text, then, oh, but to highlight the whole word, and press play,
registration,
it will read it out to you. So I think that's a really good message that you are able to then, I'll just flick back to me, that you've got something there, so you're helping the young people with reading difficulties to know that you don't have to struggle, that you will, if you've got text to speech on your computer, then you're going to be able to have the text read back. And this is so useful. You know, if a young person is now primary 6, primary 7 with reading difficulties, what are the chances that their reading is going to improve? And the chances are it's not going to, certainly by using the text to speech, it's supporting their learning and helps them move on. And it's something when they've got more work, a bit bigger workload in high school, that they will be using more. And certainly in exam situation, instead of using having a reader, then they can be doing that independently, and that sets them up for higher education, further education, and into the workplace. So text to speech, I mean, it is the most simple thing, but sometimes I've been in schools and I talk about it and people are running down the corridors excitedly sharing the good news. It's very simple, it's free, it should be by law on all school computers. We have a very good document on accessibility and what should be on your school computers and what you should be providing technology wise for students with additional support needs. Again, it's on our site and it's a good one to download, because if you do have to fight your corner or talk to your IT department about what's not on your computers, then you can show them our document and it just clearly highlights what should be there, and you can come to us for any backup information on that. So, right, so that's this very simple tool for in terms of text to speech. So again, you know, students have, you know, whether we're talking here about Windows laptops, but it can be really on any device. So if you're using iPads and you've got text there, then you can use the inbuilt functionality of speak selection or speak screen to have the text read back. And generally young people have got headphones, so it kind of evens the playing field if everyone's doing web research and people are sitting at computers or iPads or devices with headphones and nobody knows who's reading it and who's getting, other people are getting the support from the text to speech. It's just really one very simple example of how technology can support children and young people with additional support needs. I was just seeing in the paper today the results from the Scottish Literacy and Numeracy survey and how reading levels are down. Well, you know, if we can get more young people using tools like this to support their reading, it would be really beneficial. And contrary to some opinion you get, it is not cheating. It's perfectly permissible and a very inclusive way of supporting your students. Other types of assistive software which are available would be things like, for example, predictive text. We would have spell checking, grammar checking, speech recognition. That's an absolutely brilliant one now, which is we did a talking in exams project with 28 schools in Scotland using Dragon Naturally Speaking software, which is a piece of installed software, and just to see if students were using this, would this improve their performance? Would it raise their confidence in terms of what they can do? And the results were amazing. One young person I worked with, who I'm sure absolutely hated seeing me because every time he knew I was going to try and get him to use technology, and we tried lots of things and he'd kind of given up, and I said, look, please give this Dragon Naturally Speaking a go. And he was sitting at the desk, he had his hood up, he had his school bag on, he wasn't going to engage, and I put it on. Now we hadn't done any training, and this is the thing, the software pretty much works out the box now. So sat there and he said, what am I going to say anyway? And I said, well, just say, today's Friday and I love being at school. And he sat there and like, today's Friday and I hate being at school. and it came word perfect up on the screen, and even he was amazed. And I just thought, I don't have to struggle writing it, you know, like I won't try and attempt something because my spelling's terrible, but you know, with this piece of software, this was enough for him to think there is something here that will help me. So it was great. I was finally delighted to be actually, you know, reassure him that I did have something good to offer him, and I wasn't just going to provide him with something that he wasn't confident about using. So lots of different technology. I mean, really, we've got Professor Andy Hargreaves, who's advising Scottish Government as part of the National Improvement Framework, and you know, he is a real proponent that assistive technology is a game changer. It makes such a difference to students, all students, but especially those with additional support needs, disabilities or communication impairment. So we really have to get the message out there. We have to work out what to use, how to use it, and where to get the training. And we'd like to think that we can provide that information and that support to you. So if you are looking for advice, support or training, then we are the place to come to. Aside from just talking about literacy difficulties, you know, we work with a lot of students with more complex disabilities. So perhaps they're using something as something like eye gaze technology, which would be very high tech. So eye gaze technology is just another way of accessing the computer. So instead of using a trackpad or a mouse, you're actually using your eyes. And so if you have no movement of your upper limbs and you're able to use your eyes, there's a little infrared bar at the bottom of the screen in the eye gaze technology. That's picking up your eye signal. And when you dwell on a cell or something on the screen, it's the equivalent of a left mouse click, and just amazing. Really spectacular to see young people who are not able to do anything for themselves to be able to know that they are the cause and effect. They're looking at a balloon on the computer, and if they follow that balloon then and dwell on it, then it will burst. A very simple cause and effect. Up to people that are using eye gaze and art packages. And I'm actually going to just at this moment, I'm going to show you a piece of art I bought from a woman that I met, Sarah Ezekiel, who has got motor neuron disease. Now, I found out about her because she's called the eye gaze artist, and I've since bought a piece of her work. So I'm just going to show that to you now because it's up here in my kitchen. So this is orange lilies done with a piece of eye gaze software called Revelation Natural Art. Absolutely fantastic. So just amazing what can be done. I saw there was another one where there was an orchestra where all the instruments were done using eye gaze, and there's another one, there's actually a free one you can download, which is eye gaze harp. So absolutely fantastic what you can do, and that would really be top of the range eye gaze technology. We've created an eye gaze curve which would tell you all about which different devices use eye gaze technology and what software would work with the different, what stage the young person is at. I keep saying children and young people because obviously we're funded from the Scottish Education Directorate, so it is children and young people up to 18, but really we do get inquiries and visits from adults with disabilities as well, and we do provide information to everyone. You know, it's a service that we're happy to share it with anyone, and I think it is more difficult when you're in adult services to get the information that you require on assistive technologies. So we've got the information there, happy to share it, and obviously our website, you can go to that at any time. I realise that we're at 8 o'clock now, and not that I'm rushing off to MasterChef, but some people will. So I'm going to actually finish there because I said I would talk for half an hour, and I'm going to have a look at the bottom now to see if anyone has got specific questions, and I will answer them to the best of my ability. But please, you've got our website address, and please get in touch. I'll leave my email address, and really do contact me directly on anything that I have discussed tonight. And again, I'll just reiterate, what I've talked about tonight is the tip of the iceberg. and I hope you can look into it further and think about the students in your class and how helpful it would be for them for now, for their future, and for life skills. Yeah, right, I'm going to look at questions just now, so please type in if you've got any questions. And thank you for those people that have logged in tonight to listen. It's been good. I've quite enjoyed doing it, even though it's funny, sort of one-way conversation. And this was my trouble last week, doing this and then realising no one was on the other end. So, has anyone got any questions? And type in at the bottom there. If the people have typed in questions before, I don't think there's a way of me scrolling back to the questions before, but I will at some point. I'll be able to look at them and answer them specifically. Okay, I don't see any questions coming in at the moment, so I'll just say goodbye to everyone just now, and I will be back in touch, and if required I'll come back on and talk again like this if this has been helpful. It's great to get the word out about Call Scotland, and I feel very lucky working there, and I'd like you to get in touch and share the word, and hopefully we can provide the support to you in order so that you can best support your students. Right, I'm getting lots of thank yous, and that's brilliant. Thank you very much, and take care. Have a good evening. Bye for now.